Hello, Splinter Snake here with another figure review. Today we have got playing on your YouTube. McFarlane Toys. Walking Dead TV series. Michonne. I hope I pronounced that right. She's got quite an unusual name. When I was watching the series, I actually thought they were calling her Michelle, but just putting a weird accent on it. But no, her name, as far as I can pronounce, is Michonne. Very interesting name. A very cool character, very badass. But what do we think of the figure? Before we get too far into this, just want to apologise saying I'm still suffering from the tail end of my cold, so you're going to have to bear with a bit of like a kind of dying noises in the background. Now, as you saw about a month ago now, I think it was, I did a box opening video, which one just kept going and going and going, and I had this big old bag full of these Walking Dead figures. And I am a fan of the Walking Dead. I've seen them all. Apart from like the last, I think 3 or 4 episodes, or actually I think it's only like 2 or 3 episodes in season 4. So I need to finish that up because I know season 5's coming out, or it might actually be out already. I can't remember, I need to look it up. But these figures, I was kind of on the side about getting these figures because, I don't know, I wasn't sure. I saw that, as I'm a stickler for big articulation, I saw that the early ones didn't have much articulation. In fact, I think the Daryl one's basically just a statue where he's kind of bent around behind him with a crossbow, which looks cool, but I like my articulation. I was not prepared for the size of these things until I saw them at our UK Comic Con thing, which is called Collectomania. There was a Collectomania down here a couple of months back, and I went to it and I saw one first time ever in hand, and they are incredibly small, but for their size, they have not diminished on their detail or their paint apps at all. They're amazingly made. They really are. I can't praise them enough. My hat goes off to McFarlane Toys. They've done an amazing job. Although McFarlane Toys normally do a good job of their sculpting, these things are incredible. They really are. So, let's get into this. Now, she comes with a total of, I say, 3 accessories. Her cloak, her sword, and her sheath. The articulation on these, which I will go over in more detail, is okay pretty much, although something I've never seen before, and like I said, I'll go over that in more detail then. So let's have a closer look and remove the hood. It just clips on kind of. It's it's kind of a hard but pliable plastic, so you get some bends into it, but it does hold its shape pretty well, and it just kind of clips here onto her hair. The sheath is removable, and the sword is removable from the sheath. One thing I've noticed with these figures though, is getting them to hold their weapons isn't always the easiest. The sword should be fine, but guns seem to be very, very difficult. I haven't actually tried this yet. There you go, she holds it fine. And she holds it out at a pretty decent angle. You can even get holding it 2 hands, I think, with the right amount of play. There you go, you can get it holding in 2 hands, and I've got it in like a about to chop down on someone pose, so that's pretty good. Let's have a closer look at the figure and the details and the accessories. Okay, to start off with the cloak. Like I said, it's a very soft, like I said, it's a pliable plastic. I want to say plastic, but it's kind of more of a rubbery kind of thing. It does hold its form quite well. As you can see, you've got the one shoulder clear, so you have the sword sticking out of this side, and it's kind of ruffled over and folded over at the back there. It does have some paint apps in it. It's kind of this nice kind of creamy brown, and then some like darker greys, maybe blacks, kind of washed into the cracks and the crevices. Looks a bit dirty and tattered. It's very nice actually, considering what all it is. The sheath on the sword is a very simple. It's kind of got like a wooden paint to it, and maybe a brown leather strap going through it, with this kind of white crossing going over. The paint app seems to be better on this side than it is on this side compared. And as I showed you, the sword is removable. You have a silver blade with a white handle and a silver guard and a gold, I don't know what it's called, but where it's attached. All in all, it's very nicely detailed. I think it might be a bit short for the series. I feel even though they are a small scale, I think it should be bigger. And now for the actual figure itself. She has some great paint apps and a really nice face sculpt. I think the face sculpt is actually really nice, and I think it's very true to the actual TV series. The necklace is only painted on, but everything else is sculpted, like all these details in her jacket, the shirt and the headband. It's all got texture. The hair is really good as well. Great texture in that. Trousers look really nice, and the boots look amazing. Very rough, but very well detailed as well. Oh yeah, and he left some blue tack on them. I forgot about that. Just to help her stand. It doesn't help with my cloth backdrop. I'll just remove that quickly. Anyway, like I said, some really nice paint apps. There seems to be a bit of bleed here on the actual belt from the shirt, which is a bit of a shame. But apart from that, it's pretty decent and pretty tidy. Her gloves, don't know if they're like driving gloves or something, but they look pretty good as well. A little jacket, and like I said, the colours in her headband is really nice. All in all, some great details throughout. Okay, size comparison. Michonne stands just literally under 5 inches tall. Here she is next to Andrea, Tyrone. Personally, I feel like he should be bigger. The Governor, Marl, Little Carl, and then a usual suspect, Bucky Cap. As you can see, these aren't in 6-inch scale whatsoever, but they're too tall for 3 3/4 inch scale. They're kind of in a scale of their own, which is why I feel they're going to fall short on some people's lists. If these were 6 inches, I really would prefer them. But much like the Injustice figures, I fear these aren't for me, and I'm going to be moving these onwards after I review them. Okay, for Michonne's articulation, the head is on a ball. I think it's a double ball, but you get some nice rock side to side. You can go forward that much, back only that much due to the hair, and you could rotate around 360 degrees if you can work with the hair. The shoulders are in ball discs, and this is something I wanted to point out. They kind of got this cog look to them, which I think is a bit ugly, and they all seem to have that. Every single one of them has that same kind of cog look, even the wrist ones. I feel it's a bit, it breaks the look down, and all the figures are like that. So it's a bit of a shame, but they do have a good range of articulation, so you can rotate them around 360 degrees. They come out that far. Then she rotates at the elbow 360 degrees. Then she has a bend at the elbow of about 90, and it's pretty good all around. Apart from back, you come out a little bit more, but not much. Now, I've noticed on these figures, each figure has different wrist articulation, and you'll see what I mean. For Michonne, she only has up and down there, and you can rotate at the glove. See, so it rotates here, but you still keep that same up and down, which is opposite to this angle. So whereas this bends this way, that bends that way. Some figures will go the same angle as the elbow, and some will have a wrist rotation. She has an upper diaphragm joint, which is pretty decent, to be honest. You can go down that much forward and that much back. You can rotate. You probably could do 360, but I feel you would stretch it, this part a little bit, so I wouldn't push it myself personally. You can go from side to side, so you do get some great range from that joint there. No waist articulation. This is the weird part I've never seen before. The hips. Now you guys know I'm a stickler for great hip articulation. These ones I think are ball joints, but going up. So they're not a T-joint, they're not a joint per se whatsoever, they're just kind of ball sockets. So if I show you this one, you can bring the leg forward that much, back that much, kind of just about see the gap there, and then you can go out that much. You can rotate at the actual joint. So my usual thing is the Spartan. That's Spartan, but I have to put this one all the way back and that one all the way forwards, and the splits is only that. Now, while this is an interesting idea, I feel it kind of breaks the look, because if you wanted to have standing up straight, these kind of stick out a bit. Then if you kind of hide it, she bends over too far forward, unless you put it all the way back, and then it kind of belly sticks out a bit. I don't know. I don't feel they may be the wisest choice. I thought when I saw them, like pictures online, that they'd done what NECA does and apply this soft rubber here so it doesn't really get in the way. That's what I was expecting when I first saw these online. But no, this is a very hard plastic and the joints kind of work underneath it. It's an interesting idea. I don't know if it's personally one that I like, because you are kind of hindered in the amount of articulation you get in these joints. Anyway, that's enough of me ranting about the joint. Continuing, she has a rotation at the knee, 360 degrees, and then she has a single bend in the knee of that. And the further you go around, the further it goes out. She has an ankle rotation, which is at the bottom of the hinge, which is there, but you only get that far forward and that far back. You might get a bit more with this one, not really, because as you can see, she's wearing two different style of boots, whereas this one has the sides up, this one has the sides down. Still, you can get her in some pretty decent poses with the amount of articulation they have provided. And they are definitely an improvement over the first series, I think it is, or the second series, where they basically had statued legs with a minimal articulation in the arms. Okay, final thoughts on this figure. If you're comfortable with the scale being somewhere in between Marvel Legends and Marvel Universe, aka 6" to 3 3/4 inch, then definitely worth picking up. I think they've got great sculpt with great paint apps. I'd probably say the articulation is desired. It's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's my personal preference. But if you're comfortable with that, then yes, definitely pick them up. They are great renditions of some favourite characters off of the TV series. Anyway guys, that is my review. If you have enjoyed this video, please drop me a like down below. Please add any comments you'd like to add about this figure or the channel or the series even. I'd like to discuss that. And if you'd like to catch me, you can catch me on my Facebook. The link is down in the description. And you know the routine by now guys. I'll be catching you in my next one. Keep collecting and bye bye.